The Army Commander, General Thomas Piva, consulted Minister Alexandre de Moraes before confirming this move by General Richard Nunes, the Chief of Staff of the force. According to what I found out, Nunes' move had already been decided before this phone call, but Thomas Piva decided to call Moraes to see if there were any pending issues.
The commander of the Brazilian army, General Thomas Piva, may be about to face one of the greatest diplomatic embarrassments of his career. The possibility of having his entry visa to the United States revoked by a decision of Donald Trump's government. Since it's already being discussed at a high level in Washington, it must be based on serious suspicion. For the White House, the Brazilian general was allegedly placed in command of the land force with indirect support from Minister Alexandre de Moraes. And his actions would be an extension of the decisions made by the Supreme Federal Court minister.
And the history of this Supreme Federal Court shows that its members have never lacked and will never lack courage to repudiate the attacks against the enemies of national sovereignty, democracy, the rule of law, or the independence of the judiciary.
The United States Department of State has been tracking meetings between Thomas Piva and Alexandre de Moraes for some time now. The analysis conducted in Washington suggests that some of the judge's decisions, including those against military personnel, may have occurred after private conversations with the commander of the Brazilian army. Welcome to Life in the Barracks. In an exclusive article published by the Metropolis portal, journalist Paulo Capelli exposed the behind the scenes of the barracks, revealing the tense atmosphere that has been intensifying in recent days. Revoking the Army commander's visa would be an unprecedented escalation between the Brazilian government and the Trump administration. Tension could directly impact military cooperation and strategy. Last week, the United States had already revoked the visas of 7 Brazilian officials, including members of the federal police and the Federal Public Prosecutor's Office. Including Thomas Piva in this package would be interpreted as a direct message to the core of power in Brasilia. Generals close to the commander described the possible measure as a shot in the foot for American diplomacy. For them, punishing the army chief could close important channels of dialogue, further isolating the Brazilian government in international negotiations. Despite that, the Trump administration does not seem willing to back down. A member of the White House stated that even if sanctions do not change the stance of the Brazilian president or the Supreme Federal Court, more punishments are on the radar. The American strategy seems to be quite clear. Wearing down key figures linked to the army and the judiciary is a way to pressure, weaken, and at the same time, limit the power spaces that support the government. In Brasilia, Thomas Piva, however, stayed silent. When asked by journalists, the army commander declined to comment on possibly losing his visa, adding to the current mystery and uncertainty. For international observers, this strategy of silence may be an attempt to buy time, avoiding further political wear and tear with hasty statements. But the crisis goes beyond diplomacy. Documents revealed that the name Thomas Piva appeared in messages exchanged between Mauro Cid, former aide-de-camp to former President Jair Bolsonaro. Lawyer Eduardo Kuntz represents a military member under investigation for the January 8th incident. In these messages, Marochid reported that Tomas Paiva had confided in his father, General Lorena Cid. Private conversations reportedly show Alexandre de Moraes complaining about Jair Bolsonaro, accusing him of ruining his life. This content increased the pressure on the army commander, as it reinforces the theory of closeness between him and Minister Alexandre de Moraes, the main argument used by the Americans to justify the review of his visa. In Brasilia, it's believed the United States aims to use the commander to target both the Brazilian president and the Supreme Federal Court simultaneously. Retired generals warned that the measure could have serious consequences, such as reducing the military's trust in their relationship with the Americans and weakening training and technology exchange agreements. In practice, the United States puts the Brazilian army in a delicate position, forcing its leaders to reconsider institutional neutrality in the face of internal and external political disputes. What seemed like just another point of tension between Trump and the Brazilian president turned into a major standoff. The image of the army commander is now at the center of an international pressure game. If General Tomas Paiva's appointment is actually revoked, the immediate impact will be symbolic, but the long-term effects could include the reconfiguration of Brazilian military alliances and even a closer relationship with countries that are rivals of Washington. The next few days will be decisive in determining whether this measure will actually happen. Currently, the Army commander is still under speculation and diplomatic maneuvering as Brasilia and Washington engage in a behind-the-scenes dispute. This episode shows how Brazil's internal issues are directly connected to the global geopolitical game, and how key figures in the armed forces can be used as leverage by foreign powers. Leave your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about this possible close relationship between the army commander and Minister Alexandre de Moraes? Here at Life in the Barracks, you stay up to date with everything happening in the military world. Leave your like, subscribe, and watch one of the videos appearing on your screen. Forward combatants, until next time,